day. Sanbonani, hello, good people. You with Younger the MC again. I'm coming to you this Saturday, rejuvenated and happy as always. I'm hoping you've had a wonderful week yourselves. A lot happening in our country. I won't even get to it. I know the country's in turmoil with everything that's happening, but obviously I'm not going to touch base on that. I'm hoping, though, that you're keeping safe. We are with so much as well happening in the front of the COVID pandemic that's on top of us. So I'm hoping you're also taking time and making sure that you are keeping safe and making sure that you are also going according to the regulations that have been prescribed by the upper powers, because at the end of the day, we do have a battle that's we are fighting, and the only way we can win it is if we are all fighting from the same corner. So thank you for that. I'm hoping you as well making sure that you're seeing and monitoring and listening to our podcasts, and every time that we come to you every day of the week, hopefully you are making use of this content, making sure that you are also referring us and making sure that we are growing through your assistance and help. Thanking the people who are always giving us feedback, the people who are giving us, if I can say, input and into how we can go and grow. We are seeing those strides and we are seeing your participation, and it does go a long way. So thank you. Let me not waste too much time to people who aren't really aware. So I'll just quickly pass there again. On Facebook, we are there. On Instagram, we are there at empower_podcast. We have accounts on TikTok, YouTube. You can subscribe and find us there as well. So you are able to come through and give us your input. We value that. And if you are also looking for a number that you can maybe text us, give us some of what you believe in and what you're taking from these conversations that we're having, which we are hoping is really empowering, inspiring, and equipping the youth, then here's your number for you to maybe give us a shout out on our WhatsApp number. That number is 065 615 6641. I'll say it one more time. 065 615 6641. Yeah, okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you are wondering, no, today I'm not alone. I have someone I'm hoping is going to paint some clearer pictures than what I'm painting. There's a lot that we're always talking about, but today I've got a guest, someone I've actually been looking at and watching their work and everything that they're busy with in terms of work. Also from community kind of perspective, there's a lot that he's contributing towards, and I just wanted to get a feel and taste of how he's going about his thing. So Lindumusa, say, how are you?
Hey, Mr. Manana, how are you, my brother? I'm good. I'm good. It's just another day, as you said, in South Africa, but it's not for us to divulge on.
Yeah, no, let's not go there. Not go there. I know everyone, it's topics that are really, really pressing and touching everyone's lives somewhere, somehow, but we'll leave that for now. Let's put that in the deep freezers just so it doesn't expire. That topic won't be for us, but yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to welcome and introduce I'm speaking to Lindumusa Nxele, who is M&E Monitoring and Evaluating Coordinator, but I'm going to allow him to drill more into that and give you more of him as we conclude and go on deeper into the interview. But for now, Mr. Nxele, sir, maybe do you want to tell us more about yourself, a bit about your background, and get people knowing you more?
Yeah. No, firstly, thank you very much, Mr. Manana, for this opportunity to speak to young people. Lindumusa is, there's a lot about Lindumusa, but I'll just stick to this part. Lindumusa is just an ordinary, humble, young married man of below 35 years who grew up in a township called Eskawini. but who is now residing in Mthunzini, in the rural part of Mthunzini, just to be specific, in an area called Nhlangenyuke. But however, I began my lower primary, as I said, I grew up in Esikhaweni, in Ilembe Primary School. Then I moved to Tyson Technical School. Then I went to DUT just to go and pursue a national diploma in information technology career. Personally, that's just about me in the academic side. But however, personally, Lindumusa is just someone who has a very strong conviction in Jesus Christ, who attributes all himself to him. I'm one person who I describe myself as someone who's passionate, who's a visionary, who's also a critical thinker. I like engaging and making a difference wherever I'm placed. I'm one person who is morally and ethically established. As I said, that I'm also married. I'm married to Mambata, and we are expecting our first child by the end of July. So I think that's just Lindumusa for you.
Thanks, Nxele. No, congratulations. You're about to enter a different field, I tell you.
Hey, my brother.
But it's all the joys and all the blessings that I believe we really understand and really get to realize when we are at those stages, because at the end of the day, growing up was going to be this kind of process about learning, about experiencing such, and so congrats, man. Hoping that you really take care and enjoy this process as you're about to enter it, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. With people like you around, surely we will get some advice as well. Thanks.
Well, thanks. So Linda says, so let's do this. So I understand you mentioning you work now under an NGO within the MNE sphere. Maybe introduce us to your daily activities and your line of work there, sir.
Okay. No, also maybe on that, Mr. Manana, I just want to give a background as well. As I said when I was introducing myself, that I'm an IT graduate. But however, now I'm in the monitoring and evaluation space, and I've been here for the past, I think, from 2013. So how many years now? It's around 7, going to 8. So, when we did our IT diploma back in school, we always thought maybe one day we were going to be programmers, we were going to be network engineers, all those, I remember when I started working, I worked in one company in Durban. Then I saw a position online. I remember it was a data quality controller position. Then I just applied. I never knew the organization, and the organization back then it was called Africa Center for Health and Population Studies, which is now known as Africa Health Research Institute, which is in Durban and also in Tuba. Then when I went there, I was shocked, Mr. Manana, that this data quality control position, it's not what I thought it was. Because I was thinking that I'm gonna find a lot of things that we did in DUT in terms of programming, in terms of data. But however, I found myself in the HIV and TB area within the monitoring and evaluation. We were in a study called the treatment as prevention. So just by that one position I started in, then it gave me a lot of exposure and experience within the field of data management / monitoring evaluation. Then then that's where it started, Mr. Manana. And fortunately, I think it's God who made a way that I must go there, because it's something that I grew to love very much, because it's a data-driven area whereby we're looking at HIV and TB data. We are looking at performance. We are looking at whether the health sector is it making an impact in people's lives, whether people are able to access services. If they are not able to access services, what is the gap? How do you improve?
Yes.
Yeah, and I've worked for how many NGOs? I went from Africa Center, I moved to Broadreach. Then from Broadreach, I moved to Health Systems Trust. Then now currently I'm working for Think, which is TB and HIV investigative network. I'm working as a district M&E coordinator there, coordinating the M&E activities. So just in conclusion, my daily activities then would include looking at performance, looking at indicators, looking at particularly tuberculosis indicators, whether all the patients that were coming in primary health care facilities, whether they were screened on TB, how many were investigated, how many were confirmed, and where they started on treatment. So because our line of work, we work with nurses and doctors, you will know that nurses and doctors are people that are very clinical. So our role is to come and present data to them and say that this is how you are providing your service, this is where you need to improve, and this is how you need to improve. So that's my daily activities, sir.
No, yeah. Thank you. Chunk full there. But yeah. It's definitely something a lot of people aren't aware of. I'm thinking now for people and upcoming graduates who are maybe in any field who are listening to this and are not really understanding what's happening in positions that are talking of data monitoring, quality assurance, etc. They're now getting kind of a feel of what everything is about and how you're going about, and actually how it gets you to maybe a stream that you didn't really realize you end up, because you're talking medicine, you're talking somewhat in areas that maybe you did not conclude that you'd end up when you were really behind the desk back in your tertiary, and here you are now making an impact in other areas. But on that note, Linda, so I want to just touch base on this. So you're a very passionate individual. I noticed this too, going a lot on the things that I'm noticing about you. You vocal a lot about the gaps we see in the youth gaining yards with living and achieving and becoming an impactful generation. So that's where I really want to touch base on as we're going along as well. Like, what are some of the areas, for example, that you believe are lacking in the youth today, for example, in this regard?
Yeah, thanks. I think I like the wording you used when you spoke about an impactful generation. And I can draw a lot from that. And I would say that the areas that I believe are lacking in us, because I'm also within the youth range, I would say what we lack in is patriotism. Mr. Manana, patriotism is very much important as young people, especially from South Africa or any other country that we might be from. So maybe from my recent example, I once sat in a meeting with one of the United States funders. We were in a meeting. So I was watching them as they were presenting about America. You know, I learned that Americans are very, very patriotic about their country. You know, they are funding us on a lot of projects in South Africa. And this guy from America asked, how are we telling people about what America is doing in South Africa? You know, and we engaged a lot on that, and they raised an issue that they are not seeing us telling them how America is a great country. So coming back to your question, I'd say patriotism for us, it starts with you wherever you are. that whatever, be it the surroundings, the environment that you're in, you be patriotic about your country, be patriotic about the cause that you are in. Maybe secondly to that, and I feel that we as young people, we lack in being visionaries. To be a visionary, it's to have a vision and despite the environment that you might be in, whether you came from an underprivileged background, but however, that must not hinder you from having a vision where that in the next 15 or 20 years to come, this is where you want to be. This is where you want to see the society that you are in. This is how you want to impact the society that you are in. Also, just to add on, I also feel, Mr. Manana, that morally, we as young people, we are not grounded morally. I don't know what has just gotten to us. We somehow feel that we can just do anyhow, act anyhow, say anyhow. And one thing that we must know is that if we are not a morally grounded generation now of young people, it means that in the future, we are setting a wrong standard, a very bad standard for those that are coming that will have to attain and have to inherit the future. So if us we are not morally grounded, then we won't go far. And the last one I would say, Mr. Manana, is that we as young people, we lack in terms of mentorship. There's a saying which says, in Zulu, umuntu ungumuntu ngabantu. We are not here because it's only me, someone maybe somewhere was praying for me. My mother was praying for me. I grew up in a very Christian-driven background. So it's not only my mother, it's not only the neighbors, but whoever that I met at work deposited something in me. So if we as young people can have that sense of knowing that we need people that will mentor us in whatever aspect of life, because we find ourselves in a lot of problems because we were not mentored clearly or cleanly. We're not given mentorship. Just to quote one aspect where a lot of young people find themselves in is financial difficulties. I always say that the reason why we find ourselves in financial difficulties is because some way, we didn't have a mentor, and whatever that we were taught in school with regards to managing money and finances, you need a mentor on that. So I think for me, those are just the four things that I'd say are lacking from us today. But not only that, there's a lot, but I would want to
There's a lot. True. No, I'm with you completely there, Mr. Nxele. No. But in terms of everything that you've mentioned, I don't even want to go back and touch base because you've elaborated on each and all those pointers that you've mentioned. I was really touched and thinking hard about when you're saying we are really somewhat a loose kind of generation, because that's the kind of putting it bluntly, I know, but it's definitely something we see in terms of back in the days. I'm just thinking to myself, anywhere where you're going and how you're conducting yourself, you want to know the next elderly person that was passing there was someone, because that was Uma, and the things that you would do when you were out in public would then talk to the fact that that person in the street, yes, they're not your biological mom or your biological dad, but they are your parent. And it was the same at school. We did the same. We had the same respect for teachers, maybe if you can say that way. And you think of videos we see now in the nature that maybe we are looking at things now. No one knows who the next person is. No one knows who it's But I'm not even going to drill there. I think you've really touched base quite fundamentally there, Nxele. No, thank you for that. I'm hoping people will listen and maybe take from everything that you've mentioned. And then maybe before I end and go towards the closure, maybe to draw and find from you then, what's the best way so then, Mr. Nxele, that you'd elaborate on the many opportunities, obviously, that the youth have, and in not only the corporate sector, but also the entrepreneurship sector in the business world, to see how we can talk to them and make them realize that in terms of everything that's out there, these are the steps and ways of going about it. So what is the best ways that you want to just mention to them in terms of going about this?
Thanks. Sorry for that. On that one, Mr. Manana, I think we have to start by reshaping our thinking. We need to refresh and reshape our thinking on the basis that we must not solemnly depend on the corporate sector. We should also revive our consciousness and consciences towards one another, Mr. Manana. As I said, that you cannot survive alone. So when it comes to entrepreneurship and the business world, we must find ourselves within that sector. I always see nowadays that everyone will just register a company. Everyone is busy. If you want to... So everyone nowadays is just going through the tenderpreneurship, if I can put it that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Coming back to how I started, I said we must reshape our thinking, Mr. Manana. So when we are reshaping our thinking, it means that let us sit down, let us watch the environment, let us look at the world, let us look at the world in the next 30 or 40 years from now. What is it that the world will require? Can we still pride ourselves and say that when we go to university, we just want to go and be champions of industry in the corporate world, or whether we want to leave a legacy, we want to be able to start something new and bring in new business ideas, and also reshape the ones which are already here, but to suit the current trends which we are in now. Because I'll make just a simple example. Back in the 90s, Mr. Manana, there was something called, I think it's a fax machine or a type machine, which we no longer, if it's still here, but no one is not using that now, Yeah, exactly. So that means that there are certain things which were relevant back then, which are not relevant now. So also ourselves as young people, with our thinking, which will be renewed, then now we will be able to look at the business world and say, what is the gap? Where do I need to come in? What is it that I'm going to change? Because if you are just coming with a business idea for the sake of you want to make money, then we've lost it. Money is, yes, money you will make. We need money, that's true. But we need to be able to define that the reason why I want to enter into business is because I saw a gap there. I saw that maybe if I can bring in a shop here or an internet cafe, whatever it may be, it will assist this particular individual. It will, also on that note, we need to make use of this changing society which we've become. Because look at us now, we are on Teams, we're using Teams. So the world is taking another shape technologically. So we need to take advantage of that, Mr. Manana. Even someone who is busy with agriculture or farming, whatever you may call it, but that person needs to be able to say, this is my business case, this is what I need to implement. How do I meet the current technological conditions of the society? I think lastly, on that note, Mr. Manana, what we need is a strong leadership of young people. It's very sad that today young people are, I would say, not that they are not given opportunities to lead. However, it's us as young people who do not want to take advantage and say we are also leaders. Elders need to see us and watch. They must be there, but give us an opportunity and space to lead, because we are a younger generation. We must be able to define ourselves going forward and say that this is how we're going to lead, and our leadership must be an ethical, morally grounded leadership, which is on principle, not just to lead for the sake of leading, that I am so and so, but when you are whatever space you are in, if you are given an opportunity to lead, when you are leaving, people must say, no, there was someone that was here that led us. They must see an impact. They must see a change after you've gone. There must be no one who will be able to walk in the same path which you've walked. Thank you very much, Mr. Manana. That was all in terms of entrepreneurship.
No, man. Hey, I wish we could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
The doors that you are opening, and maybe, and I know as much as you are feeling, but there's just so much someone can draw, because I'm also taking so much as you're talking, the very points that you are touching base on. But obviously, time doesn't allow us to go on and on. But very informative, Mr. Nxele. It's a very, very, it's a lot that you're giving, and I'm hoping it's really going to make an impact and really get to touch someone somewhere, because we are really striving to just get as much information, to equip our youth, to equip ourselves, if I can put it that way, to build ourselves. And as I mentioned before, we just want to inspire and motivate the people who are maybe not seeing that everything is still in our hands. We want to change the mentality of people who are saying leaders are going to be pointed at by other people. No, leaders are in ourselves. We are also leaders. So there's a lot that you're touching base on that I just want to elaborate on. And talking about that kind of leadership, you've gone out. I know there was an outcry maybe from you using socials, where you've also mentioned support, and there's also some kind of sponsorships that you are looking for a particular team of players, say soccer players that are maybe not with kits, not with footballing equipment. You've actually drawn up a presentation and a proposal. I noticed that you actually elaborated on the backgrounds of some of these and the pictures that were also there. Maybe if you want to go back and just touch base on that, because that really also touched me when I saw some of that work.
All right, thanks. I think there was some network break there, but I think I did get what you were saying. I just that one, Mr. Manana, the football club, you mean, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. It's one of those things whereby we want to impact society and make a difference, Mr. Manana. Just a bit at home. And where I stay, that's where our family is from. So next to our house, there's a sports ground. So when I was just visiting home, I sat and said, I was looking at young people playing football there, and something just said to me, I must just go and find out and engage with them and see where can I just make a difference. I went to them, I spoke with them, asked them, guys, why are you playing football? Do you see yourselves as the Messis of tomorrow? And so, I was shocked, Mr. Manana, because a lot of them actually want to pursue a career in football. And you find that there is no one that is maybe bringing in an opportunity for them to be able to thrive in that. So I just decided, no, guys, I'll assist you. Alone, that when I started, I was alone, but now I think we have been joined by about 4 or 5 people, because when I started, I just said, no, guys, let's sit down, let's form a team, let's see where it takes us, let's have a vision. And we named, the name of the team, we decided to say it's Tunzini Visionaries Football Club. The reason why we use the word Tunzini is because it's the sports field which they are using. There's a lot of trees around, so there's a shade. There's a shade which because of those trees. So we just decided to say it's Tunzini Visionaries, and we said we're going to sit back. We are going to one of the biggest leagues in South Africa, even if it takes us 10 years or 20 years, but we are going there. That's our vision.
True.
So that's what we started, and I'd want to say to the listeners that we currently are doing well, because we've approached companies for funding. Some of them have responded to say no, they will assist us, and we've already received a donation of some money as well, just to be able to buy some boots. So we are. That's the main reason why. It's because we want to make a difference. We want to just have a positive attitude in terms of engaging the society and doing better, and see where it takes us.
True. Yes. And also giving hope. For me, that's what I just saw. And also giving hope to those that would maybe go out just to play, just because there's nothing else they can do. And, there's this seeing, some of the pictures, you are seeing that, these are contributions that go a very long way, because some of the players are in barefoot, some of the players aren't with kids, but they are there, they're at the ground. So there's also taking, that kind of feel to it, and giving hope is what I'm saying. So, what I can do, maybe if any of the listeners would then wish to also learn more and maybe see how they could even contribute to some of the projects, like how we've just spoken about now, where do they go through? How do they say maybe, hey, we'd also like to learn about it. Where can we contribute? Can you give us that platform, please?
All right. Now, maybe for now, because we are still in the initial stage, I can just give my contact details. Currently, we are busy with profiling the players as well as profiling the team. So currently, we don't have any, maybe like a website, any communication platform, but I can just give them my number just for them to be able to contact me should they need any information. And must I say it now, Mr. Manana?
Yes, you can say it now.
All right. So my contact details, it's 072 1915 849, and I repeat 072 1915 849. Thanks.
Okay. No, thanks. Thank you, Mr. Nxele. Maybe I'll also come in, because I'd also love to make sure I also lend a hand if I can anywhere. But hopefully some of our listeners are also there making use of these information. So Nxele, maybe I'll let you go. But before I do so, any closing remarks, anything you'd want to mention, maybe even to our listeners before we say goodbye?
All right. Firstly, thanks for this opportunity. I always love talking to young people and assist wherever I can assist. But my final remarks, Mr. Manana, I would say, guys, young people out there, let us be grounded truly on Jesus Christ and His Word. That's the life. That's the life, young people, and that's the truth. If we are not in the foundation of the Lord Jesus Christ, then whatever foundation that we are on, it's a sinking foundation. But if we are standing truly on Jesus Christ and His Word, then we are grounded on a strong foundation. So whatever that emanates from there would be coming from the foundation of Jesus Christ. That's the first thing. Second thing, I'd say that, as I said earlier on, let us be visionaries. Let us be passionate. I always say to my younger sister that you must always choose the neglected path. Let us not follow a path which is followed by a lot of people. Sometimes in that you find there's a lot of confusion there. However, the safest path is the one that is neglected, the one which is seen as if it's just foolish. That's where the life is, where there's a lot of people question that before you follow. So let's have that. Let us not say that. Let's, in a way, have strong moral values, be accountable, be an example, provide hope to the society, help wherever you can help. That's how you get life. Even if when you wake up in the morning, wake up and pray, and that's how you start the day. Kneel down. We are just nothing in this earth. We were brought here. We don't know how we even came here. So we need God in our lives. We have to start with Him. That's our foundation. Thank you very much, Mr. Manana. That's all.
Yeah. No, thank you, Mr. Nxele. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I really need to let you go because our time maybe has been consumed so much, but it's been consumed on informative and data that's really going to help. And I'd really hope that our listeners are going to take from what we've mentioned and a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It's Younger the MC again. I always come to you on Saturdays, and I'm hoping, like all other Saturdays, that this one is also going to start off with you taking so much from what we've just spoken with Mr. Nxele. So thank you very much for joining and tuning in. Up until next week, thank you and bye.